Ministry of Public Service that is under the Kenyan government. So today tuko na serikali ndani ya nyumba. Welcome, Caritas.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we have waited for this.
Finally.
We have here, yes. Finally, yes.
Career path, career progression.
Yeah.
These terminologies, young people are like, sasa watu wameleta makizungu mingi. What are these things?
It's interesting. I know you've introduced me, but yes, as you mentioned, I'm Collins Okoth. We have been waiting to talk about career for some time now, and we're glad that this opportunity has presented itself finally. Of course, out of a very busy schedule for all of us. Career. I think there's never use to in different defining career, because I think for every young person, and indeed everyone, when you say career, in whatever meaning or whatever angle, they know the meaning. It's really what somebody purposed to pursue for a long time, to define how they are going to support their lives. So that normally is how we view career. So when somebody asks you what's your career, you quickly think he's asking you what is your job. Yeah. So I think that's how many of us have come to understand career, or just what are you doing for a living? What is occupying your life? What are you engaging in? That quite simply is what career would mean for me. Yeah.
So what is occupying your lives? What are you doing for a living?
Yeah.
What keeps you going? What makes you busy?
Yeah.
Now, when you talk of career, must it bring money, or you can have a career that is not bringing income? Because I can be busy, but there's nothing coming.
No. This must support your life. Must support your life system. Yeah. So a career should be something that adds value to the kind of life that you want to live. Yeah. So I don't think the others will be hobbies. If there are things that you just do for leisure, then those would be hobbies. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. I know you are an M&E expert.
Yeah.
And I know you are versed with these things on M&E. How did you end there? Like, did you plan from class 8, from 4, I'm going to pursue this thing even in higher, in my postgraduate and maybe in my PhD? Did you consider, or it just came along?
The context of career and quite often conversations around career choices, career growth, and all this mean very different things in the context, that depending on the country you're discussing this. Because, for instance, we are a third world country, Kenya, and there are many others, but I could easily talk about Kenya. But as I say third world, because one of the challenges we have is that rarely are we able to define our careers from childhood. Rarely are we able to decide what we want to become and clearly become it in third world countries, because opportunities do not seem to be as many for us to allow us choices when we are young, that this is where I want to go. Even though I know the people still have aspirations that are driven by either our predispositions in terms of talent, our likings, just things that you love, could still push you towards deciding that I think as I continue in my life, as I become more mature and of age, I want to do 1, 2, 3 stuff in life. But let me start by saying, I think, and this is what I tell people, I think recently a friend of mine sent me a text, and she's like, hey, I have this, we have a career day in a high school. to go speak to, and they're alumni of that school, to go speak to the young people in that school. And she had been picked to be the main speaker from the group of alumni. She's an engineer, a young girl. Yes, and quite often I know that every time, many times when we talk and she has issues that have got to do with leadership, she reaches out. So this time she's like, give me some points. Then I told her that go tell the young people that God first. I said God first because you remember when God speaks to Jeremiah and he says that I foreknew you, okay, that I destined you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So quite often, God's purpose in us many times inform then how our lives turn out. And I think for young people, the more we get aware of the need to align ourselves to God's purpose, the better it is for us, especially because there's a lot of uncertainty, with regard to career. But back to your question, did I plan to become M&D? Did I even know there's M&D? You know, conventionally, when you're growing up, whether in high school as a young person or primary, even up to campus, we know the conventional careers: engineer, lawyer, teacher, doctor, accountant. Those are easy to talk about because we grew up seeing them, we grew up interacting with them. So no, I did not even know M&D exists anyway, or economist or something. So I did not even know M&D exists. So when I was growing up and I wanted to be an engineer, that's for sure. So as I did my Form 4, and I've told this story elsewhere, I didn't get the grades to get direct entry to engineering. But I know I didn't want to be a teacher for whatever reason. So for whatever reason. And my journey is such that there's a period after the release of the exams, and I knew with this one, I didn't get my opportunity to qualify for engineering. But I didn't want to be a teacher. So what happened is that in that period, the 2 years, we went to school those days when we stayed on for 2 years before joining campus. So the 2 years, I moved around colleges, polytechnics, because I still wanted to be an engineer. So I was so determined that if I'm not getting it from campus, then let me go to Kenya Poly and still do my engineering there, Lungas. Until somebody spoke to me, you know, as a young man. In fact, let me tell you, when I finished class 8, I wanted to be a truck driver. so I told my mom, when I finished class 8, help me to become a truck driver. But you can see me, I was not very endowed with big body. So I was too small. My mom said, because you cannot even stretch your leg to Nini, you will go to secondary. Perhaps after high school, you will have gained physical endowments to be able to whatever that. But of course, when I went to high school, priorities changed. My focus changed. So I wanted to be engineer. So again, I worked hard until I met a gentleman. I don't remember his name. I don't even know his face very well. But my mom took me to that guy, and we had a chat. So she told him the story that the guy got university entry grade, but he wanted to be engineer. He cannot meet the clusters for that course, so he prefers to go to polytechnic to still pursue his dream. Then the guy said that in one word, he said, you got university entry grade. That is what everybody is looking for. So you just go to the university. It doesn't matter what you do in the university. His idea of career was that if you're in the university and you do pursue a university degree, you will become anything in life. So he didn't care really whether I was going to do whatever I was going to do. So that is how my direction changed. So I went to the university. Luckily, when I got in, I had been called for BSc, Bachelor of Science. So within the Bachelor of Science, there was Bachelor of Science Applied Technology that resembled engineering because it was technical. We were doing basically everything that engineers were doing. So I said, Now, the engineering thing has just come. That's what I'm also saying, that God's purpose in our lives also has a role, even as we discuss conversations, career. So I did that. But you see, that was still not M&E. Yeah, so when I left the university, I wanted, based on my training then, because our trainings would define us, and I was supposed to work with in energy firms, renewable energy firms, including the Ministry of Energy, or water companies. But I didn't get that. So what I got was to be a credit officer with a financial institution, giving loans. And I grabbed it. Remember, you'd seen my journey, what I wanted to become, but I now have an opportunity. Now, that is how my career was defined, because your career then becomes that thing that helps you put food on the table, and you do it for long. Right now, you can't ask me to go back and become an engineer and install water systems and ABCD. I wouldn't do that, because for the last so many years since I left the university, I've only worked with financial institutions. And so I gave loans. When giving loans was enough, then I decided to now check what the loans do, which is monitoring evaluation. That's how I landed here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all you do is check what the loans do.
I do, yes. How is the loan changing lives? So people ask, yeah.
Wow. So that's the journey. Yeah. You might start wanting to become a truck driver. Along the way, you realize you're not endowed. Then along the way, you want to become an engineer. The cluster points is not enough. You find yourself in the university. Just go there. That's the point. He was told, just go to the university. Somewhere along the line, he ended up in credit. And now, he's the M&E manager at Women Enterprise Fund under the Ministry of Public Service. Well, we want to go on a short break. But when we come back, we want to pick it from there. How do you choose now that, for him, he's already known?
Is a nation. Nairobi is a nation that fights and eats and destroys its own.
People in Kenya, unlike Nigeria, where if they get money, they do well in promoting the kingdom of God first.
Wow.
Here,
yes,
people, when they got a little bit higher,
yeah,
or another car or another something,
yes,
then they don't want to talk to those people even who prayed for them.
Let us reclaim the divine destiny, the divine allocation of this city.
So welcome back to the second bit of the show. Thank you so much for staying tuned, and we always appreciate your viewership. You are an encouragement. Now today we are talking about career paths, and we are with one Carolus Okoth, who is the M&E manager, Women Enterprise Fund. Now in the first part of the show, he has given us his journey from imagining that he can become a truck driver to desiring to become an engineer, and finally ending up as an M&E expert in the ministry. I mean, if you look at this trajectory, you'd be like, how do they connect? But it all boils down to what is said in Jeremiah. I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So all these things will always align according to God's purpose for your life. Wow. So, you know, I call you Daktari sometimes, but you refuse that name.
Yeah.
So, Bwana Carilas,
Yeah.
tell me, now there's this young man or this young lady who's watching us right now, and perhaps they just finished Form 4 or they're just in the first year in campus, and they're wondering, how do I settle in which career path?
The answer to this is that if they are still very, very young, they will rarely settle. Partly due to what I already said. As I said, if the supply of opportunities in the labor market was sufficient, then people from birth would know this is what I want to do in life. Because then they will develop their skills for what they want to become and get placed when they have the skills, they've acquired the skills. So your life will be so straight. You're young, you want to be an engineer, you're taken through a training path that develops you to be an engineer. Then once you're done with your training, you are placed as an engineer. That is a straight path. And that is what would be the ideal, where opportunities are guaranteed, or the supply from the labor market is sufficient to meet all our demands. But that is rarely the case. And most of the times, we acquire our skills, and there are never opportunities or not adequate opportunities in the areas where we have chosen to develop ourselves. Because first of all, career development and career growth begins by preparing yourself to take up opportunities that exist in the labor market. It could be marginal sometimes, because, as I say, is that there are forces that we rarely have entire or total control of. So for a young person, my advice is that you can rarely talk about settling in a career now. In fact, I think only recently, as we get to age 40, that we begin saying, now it is extremely difficult to change our career. But it's still possible. Even now, I can still decide, enough of the M&D, I want to go to the university and do research and teach. That will be a change of career still. And I may not teach about M&D, I may teach about other things. So you always remain fluid. Career is in our context is very fluid because today you can be the accountant and tomorrow you're something else, and doing something else, and that for me really would be the encouragement that I would want to give young people, that we need to really, especially in our early days, let's remain very open-minded. Remain very open. It is good. The starting point is that define your career. That's important. Set your career goals. Be clear what and who you want to become. Be clear what, if you see or achieve, will give you the greatest fulfillment. Once you've done that, develop yourself to be ready. Okay? Develop yourself to be ready to get to the goal that you have set for yourself. Developing yourself, I mean, get the necessary skills that you need to get there, to get where you want to get to, because already the market is telling you what it requires, and the market which is changing. So you keep getting the relevant skills that you need. The other thing is that if you're already in a space, for instance, you're already working in an organization, then keep developing new opportunities. Position yourself to grab new opportunities that come within your organization. And quite often, there are some opportunities that sometimes come from them. You can be in HR, for example.
Yeah.
You can be in HR. And you can see HR is not having opportunity today, but there's an opportunity in supply chain. Let me give you an example. I have my Shimeji that has worked for Nation Media Group for the longest, since she left the Kabete school. I'm told it's Kabete Pesa. Since she left Kabete Pesa, she has only worked for the Nation. So for a long time, she worked in accounts department. And then the other day I saw her name was gazetted. They appointed her to be the manager supply chain. Okay. So it means the skills she had, even that time when she was in accounts and doing the ledgers and ABCD, she's still qualified to run the supplies, the stores and ABCD. And there was no opportunity to be manager, accountant, the accountant or whatever, but there was an opportunity to be supply chain. So she had the chance to say, no, I don't think I want to go to supply chain. Leave me where I am and remain maybe in the position where she was in accounts department. But now she's heading whatever. So that is what it is. So again, see the opportunities that will come up in the organization where you work, where possible. And because you're talking career, the gist of the discussion is that career growth is important. There's career also. You can have what you do and you've done it for so long. Are you moving? Yeah, okay. Yeah, are you moving? You also need to move. There's need for progression in your career. And to achieve those things, you also need to have elements of people who are able to speak to you. As a young person, particularly, there are very many people who you look up to and you admire them. They are in the field where you've set your career goal to be. They are sitting well in your space and they have gone ahead of you. Can you take advantage of them? Have opportunities to occasionally talk to them if you can reach them. Preferably when have some of them mentor you. Okay, mentor you to become the person that will be able to grab opportunities in the area that you are. I've seen when it goes to higher levels, your relationships then become now very important. Some people call it organizational politics, and when you say that, it sounds negative, but it's not negative. It's how you network, it's how you relate with the people, it's how you show yourself, it's how you take advantages, okay, that are in that space. Because sometimes when you even volunteer yourself to do some work that nobody was willing to take up, the next thing you always hear, so that is organizational politics. But for you, if you want to grow, especially if you're within a family, these are things that are going to be able to be useful for you as stepping stone. Yeah. And for a young person, I repeat again, too rigid. Remain flexible. You've seen my journey. Credit, now M&A. The next, I don't know. I'm not telling you that M&A is my last destination. No, I don't know what next. But it's because I want to keep an open mind. It's about fulfillment. It's about putting food on my table, what is most rewarding when I'm doing it. But also importantly, it's about impacting the lives of people. That's also very fundamental.
Wow.
Yeah.